So let's talk about win conditions here, right?
Sure.
Legion of Carrots, obviously, we're going to look to the same two people we always do, and that's going to be Pernicus and Aduro. Alpwash, a very strong pick for them as always. DJ Pernicus, very, very strong on the rotations. And this is probably going to be one of enemy's harder matchups, considering the weakest link here. You're kind of looking at Fly in and Awe, a newer member, getting brought up from the minors, didn't get a lot of competitive experience, going up against likely the most aggressive jungler in North America.
DJ Pernicus is definitely one of the more aggressive players, and even still with that aggressive mindset, he tends to play some of these sort of, I don't want to say support, but these thicker setup-oriented gods, which is why you see on the bottom side enemy ban out Odin. That's very popular for DJ Pernicus and his thought process, really.
So, Sylvanas is open and Odin is banned. For me, that looks like a pretty open pick. Yeah, they're going to grab it. With Athena banned, they can't grab that coveted Athena Medusa. Also, remember, Panda Cat actually subbed out today.
Oh, right. Instead of Panda Cat, the player that's really made a name for himself in 1v1 scenarios in that Hunter role, we're actually going to see Fatal go ahead and take over. He's a player that I know a little bit from the ranked queue, but not overwhelmingly a lot about. And that said, really no SPL experience for him.
Which is going to be rough. I mean, Panda Cat, to me, decent. Has had a extremely difficult time playing against the big names. You're looking at players like Snoopy, Barracuda, Allied.
But outside of those three, Brandon
has always done pretty well.
Really done well.
Maybe not Madman Mark. Madman Mark's on, in my opinion, on that level in North America. But Panda Cat has always been kind of below that. So a lot of what made that lane good to me was that Pain and Panda worked very well together. So I don't know if there will be a skill increase or decrease for the sub, but the chemistry, there's no way it's going to be as strong because that was a real highlight for Legion of Carrots.
I'm with you on that. I will say that Pain Deviant is one of the players that I would rather have if I'm swapping out a Hunter. I think Pain meshes well with the majority of players, so definitely agree on the fact that there's going to be a chemistry mismatch as opposed to when he had Panda Cat on the roster, but Pain tends to really work well with other players in general, so I think that they're going to suffer, but not as much as if it would have been a different player.
So on the bottom side, Ao Kwang going to get locked in. This, to me, and I know I changed my mind a lot. Obviously, the meta shifts a lot, but this character to me right now is a top 3 pick.
Really?
He's incredibly strong. He has the ability to just flat out end games, and with the heal on his ultimate allowing him to reset into fights, he's extremely scary. I was going to say that I really wanted to see a Hunbots pick up, but then again, they remind me of the powerhouse. So I like this. Geb gets locked in on the top side. We're going to go back into bans.
You know, I like what Legion of Carrots has going here right now. Thor, Isis, Geb. These characters are going to really deny any sort of counter initiation onto an objective, which is interesting because that winds up being tanky in a sort of off-brand type of way, which allows which sort of disallows Ao Kwang from taking advantage. A lot of times you'll see just lineups of the objective secure as well. We just have a Hercules and a Sobek and a this time around, Ao Kwang's execute will surely go on the Geb for now, but they're kind of thin.
Yeah, Bologna's going to get banned out from Legion of Carrots. A pretty obvious ban. Pretty even maybe surprised to see her get through as far as possible. Usually we see her picked up pretty early on. Option coming out from enemy, it's going to be Apollo, a hunter who's come back into popularity over the past couple weeks. Incredible level 2 to level 4 damage. Still one of the best split pushers in the game. Forces you to play a much different late game conquest, and not many gods hold that title.
He's also very, very safe. Hi-Rez has called him sort of the intent of this character is sort of to be an escape artist. So when you have an uninitiated sort of rookie in your roster, Fatal taking the place of Panda Cat once again, Apollo is a very safe pick to go ahead and give him. Instead, Legion of Carrots with Apollo banned out, we'll go ahead and choose Medusa, who also has that slither is very, very long.
What we're also going to remember, we're going to see huge lane clear coming out from Medusa, whereas Geb lacks in that function. So the early game for Geb will be augmented by the fact that Medusa can get him through it. So they're really looking to aim towards the mid-game, later stages of the mid or end game for this, and I really love that draft. Bottom side, Poseidon going to be picked up. Usually a curious pickup when there's Geb, Stone Shield negating a lot of what makes Poseidon very strong. He's going to have to be on the mark because realistically, they're looking at a lot of auto attack damage between Ao Kwang and Shibalanke. They're going to finish up with a very safe pick of Tier, and this is very smart because with counter pick and solo belonging to Legion of Carrots, he's picking a character that doesn't lose any matchups. He's just a very vanilla character that will get him through the laning phase and provide enough CC in the end game to keep him powerful.
Now, what you said about the Geb with the Stone Shield working against Poseidon, it can also work against what Tyr wants to do as well, sort of stopping the Fearless without having the benefit of beads or Magi. So they do have to watch, so enemy does have to watch out for that Geb Stone Shield, but as you said, there's a number of players on the side of enemy that are going to not necessarily bait out, but warrant the use of that Stone Shield. So Tyr, as long as this Tyr player, who's most likely going to be awesome to the max, as long as we see him be careful about who that Stone Shield has been used on already, and the cooldown of it, should see a successful game.
You know, I also didn't mention, I always talk about that I'm a big solo lane fan. Two of my favorite solo lane players in the world, Plaid Girl and Awesome to the Max, going to be going at it today.
This is fun.
I've actually played a lot with these two. And they're always very interesting. They tend to follow the meta that Divios and Cyclone and Omega make for them, but they always do it very well, and they always do it in their style, which is not something we usually see. When a team is considered weaker, generally they just follow the paces. Legion of Carrots doesn't do that at all. They're always playing their own game.
Very true.
And same thing for Awesome to the Max. He was benched for a little while, but he's back. He's going to be super strong, and I love the combos here. Pernicus really playing to his strengths of being able to rotate quickly with Thor. Ao Kuang picked up here for Flying or Na. Now, we talked about the fact that Flying or Na hasn't had a great positive effect in a lot of these games, giving him one of the most damaging characters in the game, and a character who's extremely hard to get away from should play to their benefit, especially when coupled with Tyr, who shouldn't find himself in too much trouble even on gank attempts. Whereas his weapons, is actually going to be subbing in for Awesome to the Max, is going to be having pretty much the same route.
Awesome to the Max on the side of enemy esports plays a very good Tyr. A very, very strong Tyr player right here. So I've watched this character, Awesome, really play throughout the Challenger Cup and come up. And sort of like what you said, I want to piggyback off of what you said about these players. Sort of, they follow the meta, they follow the path, but they don't go in the direct footsteps, which we see different builds come out from these characters, and it's really fun. And Words as Weapons, as you just mentioned, has really sort of made a name for himself very recently.
That was it was one auto attack off from being perfect. You actually saw Chris Pocket miss one hit. Otherwise, that was a flawless attempt. That one extra auto attack might have gotten Poseidon there at the same time as Chaos side, a little bit slower on the side of Legion of Carrots, and that spells a lot for me when you watch them come into the lane this way, because that means enemy is practicing things that are in their control, and that's making sure the early game is as flawless as possible. For the fact that we just saw Order side do double camp and get there just as fast as the Chaos side is pretty incredible, because no one has been able to do that so far.
It's so meticulous to be able to count. I mean, we're sitting here literally splitting hairs, counting steps, and as far as at the end of the day, how much of a huge player, it's not about that. It's about, as you said, how much work is going in the lab to really get this going.
And I always take away from the speedrunning community for that, because late game, you can never compare PvE to PvP. The World of Warcraft debate will live on forever, but you can't compare the two skill sets. But in the beginning of Smite, in the first 40 seconds, if there's no invasions, it's a speedrun.
There's a lot of scripts.
Who can be as perfect as possible. And right there, enemy was looking really smart.
Yeah, it definitely just shows me how much attention they're playing in the lab, as we said. And also,
awesome.
the Max has a couple of minions.
He's taking damage here.
Because of that, he's only level 4.
But the Tyr heal very strong, beautiful stance switch, fearless into the power cleave, going to give him the lead back in health. Both starting to wear low on mana, and while they do have the blue buffs, do remember it's going to be very long for them to be able to get back to that full amount, and a lot of them use a sick amount of just Where's his weapon? He's stunned already. Fearless got him. First blood. Awesome to the Max.
Beautiful Tyr execution. Just able to go ahead and use that damage. Sun Wukong is a character that you want to burst down because of the ult, but Sun Wukong wasn't level 5 yet, so it didn't matter. Also, the Max was able to do what he could over time.
Flying or Na coming in here. Rollout going to be enough to save him. Pain of Beyond immediately turning tail and smartly. Never want to try to box a 3v2 when Ao Kuang is in that mixed. I mean, even if you're the two.
Pretty much, Ao Kuang just super strong. And taking a look at his start, just standard boots, we're likely going to see the boots finish into Magi boots, power boots.
I really, really want to see the same build that we saw the other day.
I liked it. With the Polynomicon third item.
Was it adapting?
It was adapting.
Yeah, it went Shoes of the Magi, Doomor, Polynomicon, and just Lord help anyone he went near.
Yeah, the burst damage was a little too much. Left-hand side, those mid-cams look like they went to enemy. Hold on,
they were split. Pain's
we'll confirm
dead.
that, but there's a great grab from the Sylvanas and Pain to Beyond, as you said. Jeremy is going to go ahead and grab the second kill for enemy very cleanly.
I don't know about all that. I don't think they needed that crack in there. Jerby wants to confirm it, though. Wants to make sure they get the kill and keep that early lead. Beautiful. Whirlpool going to force weapons to the sky. Austin to the max, keeping him locked down. If he would have... Oh. My heart just stopped because I thought he was going to ult the decoy.
Because he went right up on him. Nope, not quite going to burn that that execute on the decoy.
My PTSD from ranked is setting in.
What, you did that recently?
No, just, I mean, you get teammates who, like, come in to gank the Sun Wukong, and they're like, go, 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 and they hit the decoy, and you're sitting there like, I probably could have told him
I've been there as a Thanatos in the air, and you just see both the decoy and the player basic attacking. What do you do? What do you do?
And the real Wukong can't do anything besides basic attack, otherwise he gives himself away.
So you sit there, and you wait for him to use an ability, and as soon as he does, you land.
Low mana coming out from Tyr. Should be safe to escape. Words of Weapon running out as well. Vidium by himself over here on the left side. Pain taking to the jungle. Red and purple going to be respawning on both sides there. Vidium taking a lot of damage, keeping them off the tower. Strange, but he's getting close. No, actually does have now enough gold to finish up the Transcendence.
He wants to finish up the Transcendence, and they have a gold lead.
Both will, actually.
Yeah, they have, enemy has a gold lead at the moment. Very, very small one, just 1,000. Because of the 2 kills that they possess, both First Blood and the second one. And as I said, I think they wound up splitting those mid-camps. So because of that, just want to hold on to it as much as possible.
Words' Weapons is in a bad spot here. Doesn't have access to his blue buff right now. Health not full. Doesn't have enough for more than one spell. So you see DJ Pernicus rotate over before taking his jungle to make sure that they can push the next wave. That's the big one.
The one after this?
Yeah, they want to be able to push this one right here.
Jeremy's going to go ahead and rotate to the left-hand side just to pick up the red buff. Really no threat anywhere near here from Legion of Carrots. With only 50 seconds left, you're not going to see any hog uses or anything like that.
Jeremy didn't pick up the red buff, and then he doubled back to pick it up and then decided against it, and now he's going to go back for it.
No, he's maximizing the time he has red buff in the middle lane.
No, stop it. That was... Please. Ugh. That's the worst feeling in the world when you try to pick up a buff and you miss it, and then you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yep.
It's like 8 seconds that I have to spend to get this buff now. But he still gets the lane, it looks like, without losing a single creep, so no foul. No harm. There was a foul. There was a foul.
Party foul, not a real foul. Jerem's he's gonna pick up these right camps. Okay, he will split this one with the jungler flying or not. Onto the max as we check in with the solo lane, looking very, very clean right now. About 70% mana, life bar full of HP, forcing his opponent back.
Yeah, Words' Weapons is going to be forced into teleport here. If he doesn't buy it, probably going to lose most of the health in that tower. No, he's actually going to walk this one out.
I don't think Tyr can take the tower, but he can get him pretty damn close. And right now, we'll see the left-hand Harpies spawn. Both players are here. Initiate from Geb, followed up by a great Spirit Ball. Jeremy is toasted.
There's
2 members still here, but Chris Pocket has his friend Isis as well.
He's going to see Alquang trying to get in there. Just take it, and he does. Going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Aduro very low, going to be taken down. Awesome to the max in the mix. Power Cleave not going to hit there. Might have used it a little bit earlier. Fatal and Pernicus will get out, but that's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of enemy. And there looks like they're going to get both camps as well.
Great knockup from Words' Weapons right there. Being able to use the Ox very efficiently. That's one of the underused animals from Sun Wukong players. Obviously, we see a lot of stuns. We see a lot of burn escapes. But being able to use that knockup when it matters right there.
I think lately people have been getting on that Ox train.
You think so?
Yeah.
I still think it's underused, man.
Well, Divios brought him out at the last LAN.
Very true.
And it was just like, look, I mean, I'm just going to play Wukong, right? And it's going to be great. And everyone's like, why would you play this character? I mean, I like all solo laners, so I'm always excited. I didn't think he was going to do as well as he did, but he relied on that Ox a lot, which kind of separated what people were doing because, you know, most people just use the bird. It's a free escape. But the Ox is a somewhat slower escape with not as many immunities, but you also do damage and knock people back. So, like, you got to take that. Bird should only generally be used when you're escaping from people that are behind you or when you're trying to get to an area. Ox should be used in the team fights unless Tiger Stun will guarantee a kill.
Tiger Stun does a lot of damage. We've seen players flirt with leveling that instead.
Like one of the highest single target damaging non-ultimate abilities in the game. On top of the fact that it's a real decent stun. 1 second at level 1.
Him right here. Gonna go ahead and freeze the wave. What this does, it allows the enemy's minions to kill his minions, essentially just deleting experience and gold off of the map for the enemy hunters that's not in lane just yet. We've got Medusa here. He's in range for the experience, folks. This is really Vichy. I'm just trying to get him to get forward. That Chris Pocket can surprise him with a pull, but they'll show their hand, and Enemy Esports just will be 2 in the lane.
So we're going to see Traveler Shoes for both supports, but neither of which has a major advantage, despite the fact that Payne has been sent back twice, only 1 assist, and you have 3 assists on the side of Chris Pocket. So he's been trying to give some of that experience and gold away to Evidium, but again, not working out for them as it should have. He has a 200 gold advantage over 3 assists, but Medusa with nothing is still sitting extremely healthy. So it looks like they're maybe not getting the level of rotation necessary or not getting that level of farm that they're going to need. Legion of Carrots somehow keeping up in that lane, not to mention they're using a sub.
Yeah, the sub is one of the more interesting parts. I do like the rotation in. Geb Cataclysm will miss. Thor is in the air, landing on his teammate. Going to be a lot of whiffs on the side of Legion of Carrots.
Very, very close. I'm not entirely sure why we saw that Kraken go off. Circular protection to mitigate the damage. TJ Pernicus will get healed up a little bit and walk away from it. But Jerby really throwing away any potential at team fight over on the left mid's going to be spawning within a minute.
Really questionable use of that Kraken. The fight was over. There was no setup to really lock it in, and it was used on the tank. Very, very questionable
And
situation.
it wasn't like a panic, right? He wasn't in any danger. He wasn't defending a teammate. He was just kind of like kind of a monster.
Had to have been expecting a follow-up from teammates, I would say. I realize that's not a solo play you would expect of.
My issue is, where was the follow-up, though? Yeah. I mean, even if the support came over, that wasn't a kill. Alquan was already pushed away with no beads, and then the solo and Hunter were on their lanes.
Well, we do have 3 members here from Enemy Esports, so that should give them the left-hand Phoenix Harpies. They do get it. And right now, Payne Devion stuck in a bad place. Flying or not will get the kill, but DJ Pernicus follows it right up with Thor. Stun will hit Chris Pocket. That's about it. And Vicium showing up, throwing those bolas, and just a single player stops the push from Legion of Carrots.
Well, generally, Legion should have lost that fight almost outright.
Sure.
The cardinal sin against Medusa was committed. 3 players staring down the barrel of a stone gaze gun, and they're going to get caught big time.
Right-hand Harpies seem to have been all but forgotten. Enemy picks them up for free.
So here's something. We have 2 Talon trinkets on the board right now on the side of Legion. Now, it's guaranteed that we're going to see at least 1 Bancrofts.
Right.
One of them, however, should be by Pythagorum's Peace. Now, either one will wind up working a pretty large benefit to it. Hard to say which one. It looks like Jerby's going to be the one to take the Bancroft. Not quite what I expected. I was expecting him to grab the Pyth. But I would expect that it's not going to be double Bancrofts. They want to get that aura online, try to maximize the damage. Because if one player's building Bancrofts, you're going to want that person to swing as hard as possible.
I don't know. Using that teleport really, really well to get out of trouble right there in the mid lane. He's level 11, but so is the Thor.
It's just such a good move.
It is. The fact that it does damage really surprises me.
And not to mention, like, it's instant. When you cast a teleport with Thor, you have to wait a little bit. Yep. Like, you have to throw it out. They can see which way you're looking. Alquan's just like, I'm gone.
Yeah. Even jumps have a wind-up time. You can stop an on-her jump.
You can follow it.
Yeah.
That's, in fact, probably one of the biggest weaknesses of Neath is if you backflip, you're going to get caught. It's a halo jump.
Yep.
You will get sniped.
There's a big target where you land a la Evel Knievel, just wait for a Kraken or something.
Vidium coming in to try to protect this. Fatal taking a lot of damage as they tank it up. We're going to see a Duro walk in as well. No circular protection used just yet as Pocket blinks in, only getting 1.
But circular protection used at the backline in a poor spot. DJ Pernick is very low, not able to get the hammer off because of that delay we were talking about, Brandon. Jerby gets credit for that one. Chris Pocket is in the barrel of a gun. Medusa puts tons of damage out, but Pocket gets out. Flying or Nog gets out. But meanwhile, Vicium makes sure that Payne does it alongside Fatal.
Words as weapons.
Ouch.
Not sure why he waited so long. Guaranteed kill had he landed earlier. Aduro going to get rushed down by Awesome to the max as well. Wow, Enemy.
Yeah. Enemy really bringing it for that team fight. And with that said, they'll go ahead and pick up the stuff after the stuff. The free Gold Fury as they get the deicide right there, folks. 10-2 read the kills. And after that Gold Fury, we're looking at a 5,000 gold lead.
Almost every single person at the beginning of the season could have predicted, at least in one game, the score that Legion of Carrots currently has on the board, and that's everybody's negative except for Pernicus. Right? It's always considered the Pernicus show, and while I don't agree, I personally think Aduro is the superstar on this team.
Sure.
Used to be a high-level mid-lane player for the old Dignitas roster actually got them to the launch tournament when Best couldn't play for as long as he was.
Yep.
He's just not having that game. I expected the opwash. They didn't grab it. Pernick is using Thor almost perfectly. The death that he incurred there, he went to the back line. The team couldn't quite follow. But for me, I'm surprised Words Weapons takes to the sky, doesn't come down early, and Enemy beautifully capitalizes on this situation. By the time he lands, Flying Onaw was back in position, and he gets, Chris Pocket.
Flying Onaw gets caught out, and Chris Pocket goes the other way, initiates on the enemy. Kraken is down, so is Thor. Thor missed, and Thor is aggressively behind the lines of Enemy. Flying Onaw going to escape on the right-hand side. Aduro getting pulled on the left. He's going to go down to the hand of Jerby. The mid laner slays his direct lane opponent.
Geb is in a lot of trouble here, as is Pernicus. Fearless power cleave, but he's stunned out. Sends out the slow, sent to the back. Flying Onaw going to be trying to look for this execute if he gets close enough. Awesome, not close enough to find the Fearless. Once again, Pain of Yom will be able to get out, but Fatal here with the Viper Shot active is not going to be able to hold this tower unless he finds the absolutely gnarliest ult of 2015.
Geb is going to go ahead and find himself backing underneath his tier 2. Tier 1 not able to get down. You notice Enemy doesn't have their Hunter here in the mid lane. They're going to instead elect to split push and get the left tower.
Chris Pocket full health opts not to tank the tower to finish it up. It's going to take them another wave here to do this. So this is going to set them behind just a little bit in terms of farm timing, but they're still going to be able to get it.
They're going to be able to get it, but it might be not this time around. Also worth noting, Medusa, Fatal, able to get to lane in time enough to push Vicium off this tower. Now,
how?
The dual lane tower is a sneeze away. It's a single basic away, even from the mage, but it is still up.
Which is good because they can't afford to drop any more gold at this point. In fact, let's take a look at the graphs and see how things are shaping up. Enemy with a 6,000 gold lead, showing signs of life as a roster. And again, we go back to the analysis we have of Legion of Carrots last week. They, above any other team right now, in maybe except for upcoming stars, has the ability to play up to their opponents. But unfortunately, their biggest weakness is also playing down. And while they're definitely the more skilled version, as the stats would show, Enemy is just dominating them right now.
Enemy's doing a lot of things right. A lot of it coming out from this tier play of awesome to the max.
Double spear. Coming out on the left side here. I'm not sure. Now, they could stack them up together, but they don't stack on top of each other.
It's just like, it's the magical version of Executioner, essentially.
Right.
They don't stack with one another. So the idea here is that Alquag and Jerby aren't going to be looking at the same target, which is one sort of thought process, or they just want to be involved by themselves.
Right. But Spear also having a very low damage number on it. I think it's 40. Don't hold me to that. Don't play mages. They're ridiculous. Magic is nonsense.
They're gonna
tip for Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter.
I'll stop that. Expelliarmus.
As he throws his phone. But the spear here is not going to grant a lot of late game potential to Flying. Jerby going to get a lot of damage off, but you should note that one
awesome.
There's
awesome to the max.
A lot of trouble here.
Pushing Pain Devion into the brunt of the Kraken damage. That's what we're talking about.
Flying Onaw getting low, but he takes to the sky. Vicium picks up the kill. He still gets the heal anyway and turns into the dragon. Dives back in the back line. Throws out. Triple kill for Shibalanke. Finding a fourth quadra kill for Shibalanke. Vidium putting 4 stacks to good use, and they'll turn their sights to the Fire Giant.
All hands on deck for this Fire Giant. We're going to see a single member fly in awesome to the max go ahead and zone, but everyone else immediately, there was no thought process, turns directly to Fire Giant one more time, just really fantastically. There's no option selects here, Brandon. There's no baiting. There's no maybe we can get it fast enough and they won't notice. This is straight up, we're going to kill the enemy team to open the window and get the objectives.
We always talk about builds. We always talk about what's going to be strongest, what might put them behind. The fact that the spears aren't going to stack, but they can still utilize them well if they're picking separate targets, right? Things like that matter a lot when two teams are extremely even in gold and even in experience, and you need that little bit of DPS to help you out. When the case is 16-2 with a Fire Giant around the waist, it's that they could have just sold their items and they're going to be in a good spot.
Very well said. Blink is still on cooldown for 9 seconds. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and see Medusa Fatal be safe. That was in blink range of the tier. This is that bait we were talking about, though.
Pain of Yon trying to find something, trying to get in there and stop this Gold Fury. They don't even need it. Enemy is taking it at this point because they just want to put themselves in a position to make sure they don't take the lead back. Enemy isn't in the lead very often this split.
Pain to Beyond being kept in combat by Austin Max. This is very important, folks. Can't blink while you're in combat, preventing that blink steal. Shibalanke ultimate is out. Before anything starts, Pain falls to Jerby damage. Flipping in is awesome while DJ Pernicus finds his way landing on the backside with Chris Pocket in the sights. Jerby gets a double kill on the backside. Poseidon being so strong. Pernicus got nowhere to go.
That's flying looking like F6 territory.
It's going to take him out. All the while, Gold Fury goes the way of blue. Enemy looking very strong, not looking like a zero-win team at all.
This is the first time Flying Ana has shown up, and he's not just getting lucky kills. His choices have been incredible. In the last 2 fights, he had 2 execute chances, didn't take either one. He was high health, didn't need the kill instantaneously, Dave's the ult, takes them out, and then DJ Pernicus gets in the backline, starts doing damage, uses the ult and a non-execute factor to send him away, stop the Berserker Barrage, keep his team safe in the backline, while the front line continues to body. Jerby finding a big kill, enemy up 13,000 gold right now, a little bit shy, or now getting down to 12 as they lose that tower and some farm, but still, this is their first major lead since the first game against Cloud9.
And not just a major league, Brendan, they look really good.
Yeah.
They just look really strong today. They're making all the correct choices. They're making them in an orderly fashion, and they seem to be on the same page, which in 7 weeks of play in the summer split, that's been the standout issue to me with this roster. Enemy. They just don't seem to be on the same page. We see a lot of disjointed combos. Not the case today.
I'm very surprised that we didn't see Legion take the loss for this game already and not frustrate themselves, because the longer this goes on and the small glimmers of hope that they might cling to are only going to hurt their mentality for Game 2. It's a very common theme that we see happen in just all esports, all sports around the globe.
And Legion also has been a team that we've seen utilize the surrender to their advantage. We've seen them cut their losses and go ahead and move forward. And it never really seems like a salty surrender.
It's like, this game's over, let's run it back and see how it goes.
Right. Legion definitely one of the teams quicker to the surrender button than most, so this time around, very curious. Maybe they think they can outdo them in one team fight, because as this game goes longer and longer, Brandon, this gold difference will matter less and less.
Also, Chris Pocket with the literal perfect score here on a support of 0-0-16. 4/5 of the kills he's been a part of without taking a single one from his carries, without incurring a single death.
Very interesting initiation and counter initiation from both of these teams as enemies trying to get the mid lane down. So we're going to see Geb ultimate down. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, all the ultimates are still alive.
Well,
Wrath of Terra's the big one. That's the initiation and the aggression that enemy needs. One more time, DJ Pernicus falling on the backside, trying to get the power hitters to stop standing still. Enemy going to take 2 kills already, but returned from Legion.
No, it's not going to be enough. They found 3 already. Where's his weapons trying to escape here? It looks like overall it will be a semi-successful defense, as they will take the Phoenix, but they lose 2 in the process. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt them too much. The Fire Giants coming up in about 40 seconds here, which should give them enough time to backspend, regroup, and get ready to fight.
And with no Doom Orb on Jerby right there, it's just a matter of the timeout. That's the only thing that's keeping him down. So the 2 deaths are gonna be a bad look for enemy. They can't clean out all the Phoenixes, Brandon, but definitely could have been a better look for the aggressor. So Legion of Carrots not necessarily winning that engagement, but not losing nearly as hard as they could.
Mid camp's going to be taken. This is bated breath here. They don't care about the mid camps. There's just nothing else to safely do. He's trying to find every point of farm that he can at this point, because 3 levels behind a max stack, no death Shibalanke is just not where you want to be.
Absolutely not, especially the Transcendence start. Now, we saw Transcendence really take a hit in last patch because of Bluestone.
Right.
There was just a lot of mana return right there. Flying Ana choosing his
Speaking of Hunter builds here, as Flying Ana is able to escape, the difference in gold right now is level 1 beads for the Hunters compared to level 3 beads, level 3 sprints, and a hidden dagger.
Yeah, and a little crit stick. There you go. Yeah, that's a lot of gold.
That's a lot of gold. And it's used so well. I mean, he could get extra damage, right?
Yep.
But if he missed 2 of his auto attacks and Medusa didn't, the damage was just straight up even. By buying into these actives, instead of waiting until he needed them, quote unquote, he's putting himself in a position of power.
Shibalaki ultimate out, and they're going to isolate Pain to Beyond all by himself. That's a
Right
total of
sky.
4 seconds. Beautiful use of the execute on the thick character. One more time, DJ Pernice will get the stun. He'll get the double kill on Avicium.
Fatal gonna go down here. Beautiful wall by DJ Pernicus, actually stopping Vedium and forcing him to tank the Fire Giant to help him up. Oh man, what a play. I mean, there's no way he's getting out of this, but like, damn, that was good.
DJ, unfortunately for him, he's going to go ahead and fall one more time. And this right here, enemy not even looking. Nope, they decided to come back. They're going to go ahead and focus on the Fire Giant. Thought twice about going right to the Titan. And they'll pick up the buff for them so that in case Legion of Chaos really wants to mount a defense, as Pain is going to spawn right about now, they'll be able to take it.
That was strange to me. I really thought they were going to end. They had it.
Really?
They had it.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen it.
They definitely had it. But they want to play it safe. You know, I was talking a little bit of Cloud9, a little bit with AFK today. They are in the studio.
Yep.
And they said that one of the problems for the lower-seeded teams is that they're not used to being in the lead. So they don't know how to end.
Very true. We see that a lot. That's what, on average, Challenger Cup games last longer than the Pro League games because of the lack of ability to close.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing for, you know, college basketball versus NBA. There's going to be less points because the offense isn't as strong. Right, it's hard to drive.
And there's also a 7-hour-long shot clock, but that's a different story for a different day. As we look at Enemy versus Legion right now, if you're just joining us, this is the second set of the day. Enemy clearly has the lead, 28 to 5.
Shot clock. You don't use an ability in 30 seconds, you take half your health.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Just walking through the jungle like, I got a shockwave guy, sorry.
And then the challenger gets 45 seconds. Enemy Esports significantly in the lead. Don't forget, guys, this is the second set of the day. The third set will be live here at Hi-Res Studios featuring the two top teams from North America, AFK versus Cloud9. So you don't want to miss that. Right now, though, Enemy, Legion, Enemy severely in the lead of game 1 of a 2-game set.
Going into the left side, Phoenix. Mid Phoenix already down. Fire minions split pushing, forcing out defense from DJ Pernicus. We're looking at the initiation here. They're waiting for the creeps. We're expecting it to go, and Chris Pocket goes in early, only finding a Duro. Flyner not taking a lot of damage. He doesn't find the ultimate.
Kraken going to be off the mark, way off the mark. Doesn't matter. Awesome to the max gets a push for the Sentries. Vicium very, very low, keeping his distance as a hunter should. Awesome taking some damage from DJ with the Berserker's Barrage, but looks like Legion of Chaos going to mount a successful defense.
Well, they got those Sylvanas heals. There it goes. Fatal, Fearless, Power Clave picks up the kill, and they're going to be looking towards the left Phoenix. It was successful until the Fire Giant and Sylvanas healing kicked in.
It was successful, and Sustain won.
Yeah,
Sustain just won.
As it usually does.
Yeah.
Right side Phoenix. It looks like they're not done yet. 3v4 as they push in. Awesome to the max. Fearless Lee moving in, looking for the big combo.
Awesome to the max is going to go ahead and tank this one for his team. Chris Pocket, probably the more tanky one, though. Awesome, very, very low. Has the direct heal with Power Cleave.
Flying or not, teleports away, immediately blowing it up for the damage. Something that even the top level Alquangs forget to do sometimes. So great reaction time from him to dodge that huge hit. Cute
little play coming out from Enemy. They show their faces in the mid lane, but immediately deke back on the right-hand side. They're going to clear the jungle out a little bit and meet the wave here. So they'll be able to clean it and then maybe bring some minions into the right-hand.
You're watching the Mighty Ducks?
With the flying V?
No, man, you said deke.
Deke, yes.
You got to get that triple deke. Be careful on your right side.
Yeah, I mean, you got to deke.
Julie the cat Gaffney.
Duck, dodge, deke, do.
Nope, wrong movie. All right.
I hate that guy. Ben Stiller and his orange steel or whatever.
What? What?
Ben Stiller. I hate him, dude.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Oh my god. Pushing it to the right Phoenix again in a 4v5 here. You're actually going to see DJ Pernicus take to the mid lane to try to hold down these fire minions. He's got to be careful here. Both Phoenixes on the left side have already been taken. They have a long time before they're coming up. With Jerby rejoining the fight here and all 5 ultimates available on both sides, it's going to be up to the better initiate.
DJ's routinely been ulting on the backhand side, so he'll be able to make it out. Vicium pops the ultimate early, which allows his team to go ahead and get in. Pain to Beyond taking so much damage, and there it is. DJ Pernicus on the backhand side. That's why Jerby's been saving the Kraken each and every time. Drops it this time, picks up 2.
I think that might be enough. They're going to find 2 already. Fatal doesn't really have the damage to lock down someone as tanky as Awesome to the max, who somehow has made it through that fight at almost full health. which
Power
is
cleave, power
kind
cleave,
of nonsense. Jerby's still sitting pretty flat or not able to push it down. Pain to the On actually lives through the fight for the first time since the beginning, but not enough defense. Enemy with their first win of the split.
Folks, congratulations.